This is the House of Hockey podcast
where we talk about the game and the lifestyle.
We've got opinions as hockey fans, friends, and from the female perspective.
Welcome to our house.
Well, welcome to the House of Hockey podcast. This is episode 189. I'm one of your hosts, Ray Ray. Breezy is forever on the long-term injured reserved, and I'm joined by a recurring guest co-host, Andy Zilch, friend of the podcast, freelance play-by-play broadcaster, specifying in all of the hockeys. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Is that the official ruling on Breezy? She's done for the rest of the season?
Yes. She's got a new gig. I tried to FaceTime her when I was at the PWHL final to see if she wanted any gear, and she didn't answer. And she was like, normally she would like answer at her. She could answer for the most part at her other job, like for a minute. And if I'm FaceTiming, it must be something important, like, what kind of gear do you want from the PWHL final? And she's like, I'm at work, I can't answer. And I'm like, what do you want? Then I sent a picture. And so, yeah.
But that's enlighten me about how it was. Can we get
You mean you didn't listen to the last episode, Andy?
I did not, no. Hey, I was south of the border. I was in Mexico, okay?
Yeah, and they don't have internet there. So
they don't.
I know. It's
dirt roads and margaritas and burritos, but no internet.
No internet. How is that possible?
I know, right?
The PWHL final was unreal. Like,
yeah,
being able to be a witness to history and watch where this is going to go. Like, I'm going to be able to be that 80-year-old woman, hopefully. Maybe not, I don't know, whatever, maybe I won't want to be 80 and be like, I was there at the first ever Walter Cup when they raised it on the ice. I was just a young lash, like.
I hope you don't talk like that.
No, I don't.
Get to 80.
No. Well, you know what, when you're 80 you can do whatever the fuck you want, so True. Maybe I will.
Yeah.
But it was amazing to see, and to see all of the Minnesota families. I think the hardest part of it for the league, and of course, like for any team who's winning a championship, is winning on the road. Like, it's just not the same when you win in your home barn, and like they almost won game 4 at home in front of 13,000 fans, and then to be in Boston and win in front of like maybe 100 fans, or because it's just not there yet. I mean, Minnesota fans traveled, so maybe like 1,000 people, but it's quite the different experience. But to see Kendall Coyne Schofield lift the cup, being that she is one of the main people player-wise who brought this league to fruition and made this happen, and like she's the one who went to Billie Jean King and was like, hey, could you give me some advice on like how to make this league work and be great? And Billie's like, well, actually, here's a bunch of money and let's do it. And so here's the league. And for Kendall to be able to hoist the cup and to be such a household name, at least in this last decade, and people know who she is, and she's a US legend, and to see her do it. And she's a mom too. I thought her son was like 6 months, because I don't know anything about like children's ages. He's like almost a year now, I think. I was like watching this, like, and I was like, oh, he wasn't 6 months old. He's like closer to a year, but I got to meet her husband. I accosted him, I accosted a bunch of people while I was there. I was like, hi, I'm Rachel. I love your podcast. Or, hi, are you Kendall Coyne Schofield? Are you Kendall's husband? I love her. Thanks for supporting her. Like, what she's doing is amazing. And everybody was, happy to talk to me. But I talked to Tessa Bonhomme. She's a TSN reporter, I think, or one of those. And I yelled at her. She was like, she finished her broadcast and the game started and I knew she was off air. And I was like, Tessa, I love the podcast. And she's like, hey. And she like came over and was talking to me, and she was so nice. She's really the only one doing a PWHL based podcast, and that has actual financial backing. And she was a professional player. She played at the Ohio State. She'll tell you that till she's blue in the face, as anybody who played at the Ohio State will in any sport, or who even went there for school. So yeah, it was unreal. I had a great time. It was so cool to see the trophy come out, the Walter Cup, and they keep it in a Tiffany blue box, Andy.
Oh,
because Tiffany designed it.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about the Tiffany blue boxes. I know you've got a sister, but like, it's a big deal, you know? So to keep the trophy in a Tiffany blue box is like just perfect.
Did they handle it with white gloves?
Yes, they did. Hockey Hall of Fame.
All right.
They had a female and a male bring out the trophy, and I was like, oh, this is the Hockey Hall of Fame. Like, this is, they're taking this real serious. Like, this is legit. Yeah. Any other questions about it?
Was the play what you expected?
Like the skill or the excitement on
just like both. Let's go both.
The first period was really evenly matched.
Yeah.
And it was super exciting. Lots of hits on the boards because checking is allowed. Obviously, it's not full checking like in the NHL, but checking to some degree is allowed. And there was a scuffle, I think, at one point, like almost a fight. They obviously don't let them fight, but they let them like get all up in each other. It's very exciting. But the second two periods, I mean, Minnesota just dominated. Boston couldn't get the puck in their end. They were out of gas. They were just gassed. So that didn't make it as exciting. But for me, watching women or men play, like, I have just a great time watching, because to me, I just love the sport as a whole. Like, I think I would probably love watching roller hockey too. Just like I love that energy and the excitement and everything that comes along with it. So if you love hockey, I think you will love it watching women. I don't know that it's, you know, if you love the sport and you love just like the energy that goes out on the ice, like, how could you not be entertained? I mean, I was very entertained.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's all that matters then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be even better next season. Huge draft numbers, like people declaring for the draft.
I saw that today.
Yeah, that's happening today. The other interesting thing, and I talked about it in my solo episode last week, is that the challenge the league is facing right now is that they don't have a development league, right? There's no ECHL, there's no AHL, there's no FP, whatever. There's none of that. They don't have that. And it's going to force a lot of players into retirement, because what is their other option? You're going to go play at a high level in college and then you don't get drafted, but you want to stay in shape. So what, you're going to go fucking play beer league? Like, no.
Yeah.
You can't compete and stay at your top game.
I mean, I would say it's almost, I think I do agree with college being that minor league system, because it's almost like football. Like, you either make it out of college or you don't. Like, it's very hard for collegiate football players to make it to the NFL. Well, some of them grind out and play arena football league, or they go up to Canada and, like, you know, you find a way if you really want it for another year or two. But 2 years out of college, if you're not making the PWHL, I don't know if you're going to be making it.
Well, true, but also, like, there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else to keep playing. So, like, and there's only 5 spots. Like, in the NFL, you've got 32 teams. I don't even know how many teams are in the NFL anymore, but like, you've got a lot more. So
maybe do roster expansions.
So they have like an alternate list. So they do, so they can actually carry like more, right? Because there isn't an AHL to go put the players down into. So they're allowed to carry like a certain amount of extended roster to be able to pull people up and down. But like, there's nothing keeping that momentum going and allowing people to develop more, right? Because like there's guys who get drafted in the NHL and they get immediately sent down into the AHL and they have the opportunity to potentially make it and they can still play at a really high level. The women don't have that. Like you don't have anywhere else to go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're in the early stages of making this league work. We're not getting a minor league team anytime soon for women.
Exactly. But that's something they're working on hard to find either like some kind of temporary something or another. That's a big task on their to-do list in the off season to find.
Well, those 3-on-3 leagues, they said women would be allowed into that. So that's a way to stay sharp. I mean, you got to be darn good to make it, So
it's hard though. It's like, does the Players Association allow that? Are they going to allow them? How different are the rules? What's the liability for the players if something happens?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know those answers with like things.
Way above our pay grade.
Way above our pay grade. But it was incredible. So, yep. The draft is today. And the other exciting thing, Andy, was in August, I read this, but of course there isn't any press on social media anywhere, which makes me crazy. And then I start second guessing myself, like, did I not read the facts correct? But they're coming out with the logos and the team names in August.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. I saw that report from you.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully I'm right. And hopefully the other people who reported it online in their written articles for real establishments are accurate. But yeah, there's like nobody's like, we're like missing some of these pieces here. So
yeah. Well, at the end of our docket, because I noticed this wasn't on there, let's talk about Utah. Speaking of naming teams.
Yeah.
Because with some of the women's, they haven't we don't know what direction they're going at all. Nor do we know color schemes, right? Because they're wiping the slate clean. So we can talk about you want to talk about Utah now, or do you want to wait?
Do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I love the color scheme of the powder blue and the black. Love it. I'm actually like a minority in terms of liking Utah Hockey Club.
You like that?
Like, change it up a little bit.
No.
I do not like Venom. I do not like. That is not no. Venom is no. Mammoth is no. The Yeti's fine.
Blizzard and Yeti.
Blizzard's okay. You're all on board on Blizzard, huh?
I'm all on the Blizzard or Yetis. I'm in it.
I don't know. I feel like Utah, and I'm old school, so it's really weird for this to come out of my mouth. But I feel like it'd be a good change of pace. But Florida already took the soccer style jersey, so that's the Florida Hockey Club would be the perfect thing for their jersey.
Yeah, but we're not football, soccer,
Yeah, but
that's what it reminds me of.
If we don't go that route, I would take Yeti. Blizzard I'm okay with. I don't like Venom. I don't like Mammoth. I think there's one other one.
Okay, and then here's the other confusing thing that I saw, though. They said that they are going with Utah Hockey Club this season.
Might be a dog and pony show.
Really?
I mean, they're creating discussions or creating conversations about it. They might just create the logo. They probably have a third party working on logos right now for all 6 of those names.
Of course.
Or 2, because they're probably. I heard a story. I can't remember what.
You tell me this story while I look up the other name.
Yeah, I can't remember what team it was, but somebody, and this was within the past 20 years. Whoever the owner was, they're like, let's put up a poll, and the poll went up. The team name was voted by the fans, but the owner wanted this X team name, the team that lost. So they put up a fake poll, And they're like, yeah, it's the so-and-sos. And here's the logos and all that. Because the owner wanted it. He just wanted to make a poll for fans. I don't remember which team that was either. So that's something else for you to look
Was
up.
it in the NHL?
It was a major four sport.
Okay. The other name was Outlaws.
Which is ridiculous. No.
Like, get a cowboy
That's
and
like an
like
EA Sports create a team name. The Outlaws. Like
it does.
that's on a Thursday night. You go to your local hockey rink at midnight, and the Outlaws are playing somebody. It's like, no, it's not an NHL team name.
Okay, well then let me ask you this: do you like the name the Kraken?
It's grown on me. When I first heard it, I was like, what?
See,
But like, I'm kind of like, I'm coming around on it. Like, I don't hate it. I never hated it. I was always just like if I was a cartoon character, there was a question mark above my head when it was announced. The Golden Knights I liked. What's been the newest team besides the Golden Knights?
that was the first of the most recent expansions.
Yeah. So it would have been that we would have been dating back to the Predators and the Blue Jackets then.
The Blue Jackets?
Yeah.
We're going Civil War.
And then their mascot was Stinger. So there's a Stinger reference for you.
Yeah.
Then their mascot was a random bee.
It's just like we could go if we like the Oilers.
Well, they have Edmonton.
That's ferocious, like
oil
well. No,
Edmonton was a big oil country.
Yeah, I understand that, but like that does not correlate if you like really think about it to any kind of sports scary name.
Kings is not a scary name.
No.
Ducks.
But that's the Ducks for sure not.
Cute little ducklings running across the street.
Speaking of that, dude, this was also news that was buried. The Ducks and the Kings are getting new jerseys and new logos.
So I feel like it's not really going to be new logos though. It's almost going to be reverse retro resurrected is kind of what I'm getting a sense of, which the Ducks have been transitioning into. Like they've got the all orange 1993 look now. Mm-hmm. And then the Kings, I'd love to see them go back to the Gretzky jerseys.
That's what I think they're doing.
My favorite Kings jersey is just the crown when they did the purple and gold, like back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like do that again, modernize it a little bit. Those are my favorite Kings jerseys. I love the purple.
See, I like that sleek black and silver and white look.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the only teams that has the black and white.
Yeah. Actually, you are right.
Which I think is unique and different. And so I like that element, but I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I was shocked to see that news come out. I was like, wait a second. Like, where was this buried in the news in the hockey world? And like, why aren't these influencers on social media talking about it? You know, like where's the inside scoop on
it's up to us, Ray.
Yes, the House of Hockey podcast.
We will carry this burden for the world.
Spreading the good word of the league on behalf of the NHL and the PWHL. I mean, I don't really care about either of those teams getting a revamp of their logo because it's not my team, so I have no dog in that fight at all whatsoever. But I guess the Ducks, they're bringing back more of the Mighty Duck logo. But it's still going to be predominantly like orange will still be a predominant color.
Yeah, it'll be the duck mask with the hockey sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was their third the past few years.
I don't know. I mean, they're going to get a lot of shit for that. You know, because it's like the movie. It's like a little kid. It's like the kids. It's like the movie.
Everybody loves it, though. It's much better than the web D that they have.
I don't know. I would be a little more inclined for the D.
Can we clip that?
Yeah, right? Exactly. No, you know what I'm saying. Like, just No.
Next topic.
Next topic. Okay, so we don't agree on the Utah thing, which is fine. Which is obviously, of course, we don't, because
I will hang on. Let me backtrack real quick. It irritates me that people love the '90s stuff now, but when it first came out, they hated it. Like everybody hated the eggplant color for the Ducks. I always liked it. And
there
then
you go again. Fucking
the
eggplant
Arizona,
TVs, Andy.
yeah, the the Arizona Coyotes,
Yeah.
the Picasso Coyote. Everybody hated it in the late '90s. I actually really liked it. And then they bring it back, and everyone's like, "Oh, where was this?" Because you hated it, people. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm rant over.
Okay, I want to run something by you. The Combine, the NHL Combine. We're of course going to talk about the Stanley Cup Final that's happening, but give us a minute. We're going to get there. We've got other pressing things to discuss.
Much more.
So the Combine, the Scouting Combine, is happening, and there are rumored questions that they ask the players that they're scouting, right? Like all the teams do, if you don't know, they do sit down interviews with the prospects, and typically they ask them some really bizarre, off the wall questions. And these are some of the questions that have been asked. Teams have not been identified who's asking this, but I'm going to ask you these questions, Andy.
Okay.
As if you were at the NHL Scouting Combine and we're playing. So one of the questions is, what's your Snapchat score?
Oh, I don't even know.
But you have Snapchat, right?
I do. I'd have to look it up. I used to know it back when Snapchat came out. I don't even know. I'm not even.
So a high score though would mean you're on there a lot.
Mine's pretty low.
But is that how it works? Because I had to delete it because of the D. So that I was receiving unsolicited.
The web D, the Ducks fans were sending you stuff? Okay.
They were. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess low.
Okay. You guess low.
Yeah.
Which animal would you be and why?
Grizzly bear. Because it is pretty adapt to most climates, except for really warm weather. And it's ferocious. It can hunt. The only thing that really can take it down is a hunter's bullet or a polar bear.
Okay. I guess that would be a good answer. I don't know what the point of these questions are. This one's good. What's your Uber rating?
So Utah actually asked this to players. I read that on social media. Mine's a 4.96 or something, 4.97.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody gave me a low rating one time to take me off that 5-star rating because I told them a route to go and they're like, no, the GPS take me this way. I'm like, but it's faster to go this way. And then he kept going his route and I was like, all right. So I guess he didn't like me mouthing off, so he gave me a 4.
Yeah, but customer is always right.
So I should have a 5-star rating.
You should. I think I have a 4.89 because
that means you mouthed off twice.
That's not my fault. You know whose fault that is?
Never your fault.
Listen, I will cop to my mistakes. I will. I'm always in the car. I'm like, is it okay if I drink my water in your car? I am super nice. And I'm like, is it okay if I eat my snack bar in your car? I ask because I don't want my Uber rating to go down.
I'm just teasing.
Of course, it's going to make me update the fucking app. I can't see what. I can't today. Nothing is working right. So my high school bestie came to visit me when I lived in LA, and she got shamammered, and she brought a bottle of beer in the Uber on the way home, and then she fell asleep in the back seat, and she wouldn't get out of the car when we got home. And so, and to boot, I was like, get out of the fucking car. I'm like, you're going to ruin my Uber rating. I'm like, you're going to give me a bad rating. You need to get out of the car. And she was like, passed out on the back seat.
Really?
Oh my God, it was. And then the next morning, she didn't remember.
Yeah. So I have a good life hack for you. So whenever I go out with groups of friends and we all Uber, I'll say, hey, I'll take the Uber there, but I'm not taking the Uber back because it's always messier on the way back.
Always.
So good life hack. And everybody's always like once you get to the end of the night, people are more generous. And I'll be like, well, I got the Uber here. Who's getting it?
Yep.
So we'll hack to keep that rating up in case somebody is a little belligerent.
Well, luckily, I'm not Ubering in that capacity anymore. It's mostly to and from an airport, and so.
Well, it probably takes about an hour to get an Uber to your place now, right?
We don't have Uber where I live.
Oh, okay, even worse.
I mean, I have never tried it because I would have to schedule it, and they'd probably cancel, and so there's just not enough need for it where I live. But okay, next question. If you were being drafted into war, would you be a sniper, a pilot, or a medic?
God, what a question. Sniper. Probably medic, just to help people.
You could handle like all of that?
Oh, that's true.
Like an arm blown off?
No, I probably couldn't. So let's erase that. I had good intentions to start.
You sure did.
I couldn't handle that, though. I'd probably have to be a sniper.
You could handle killing somebody?
I mean, I'm going to get killed if I'm a pilot. Like, how
What
easy
do you mean you're going to get killed if you're a pilot? The pilot's the safest option.
It's the biggest target.
You got guns on the plane.
So easy to take down a chopper or anything. I'll take sniper. A lot of practice on my childhood playing first-person shooters. A lot of practice. Okay. I'll be fine.
This one is so stupid. I would be like, I'm literally not answering your question. How would you describe the color blue?
The best of all the colors. I don't know. That's I won't even answer. That's tough. That's blue. A tough one. Yeah.
It's like the color blue.
You couldn't. Yeah, that's describing. I was watching something funny the other day. Have you ever seen Loudermilk on Netflix?
No.
It's a pretty funny show. It's my show of the week. I suggest. I think it was on that show. They're like, that's like describing a rainbow to a blind person. You just can't do it.
It's purple, blue, yellow, pink.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of that means. That's those were the draft questions. That was all. I just thought it would be fun to see how we would answer. Ones. Some of those, I'm sure they're doing it it feels like how I guess Google does that. If you try to work at Google, they ask you all kinds of bizarre questions, and then they ask you to do weird problem solving and comprehensive things. And anyway, no thank you. I guess it's very rigorous trying to get a job at Google. I'm sure those people have to describe blue as well, Oh
boy, good luck. I want to know their answer.
Says something about their way their brain works, I guess. And they're playing hockey, and all we need to know is if they're a team player. So yeah,
those questions.
Yeah, we would be any of them: the pilot, the medic, or the sniper. Because
we're part of play on your hockey team.
Whatever one you want me to be, I'm a team player. I'll be happy to play all the positions.
Yeah,
you're drafted, Rachel. So over in the NHL, the Stanley Cup Final's happening.
Yeah,
we've got the Florida Panthers back in the final for the second straight season, just chomping at the bit to win Lord Stanley because they were so upset about losing last year. And we've got the Edmonton Oilers, of course, who are in the final for the first time in 20-some years.
Been a while. Yeah.
Been a while. How are you feeling about this matchup? Who are you rooting for?
I'm not really rooting for anybody. I'll take a tip of it because I love Connor McDavid so much, but just the rest of the Oilers cast, like there's not much more that I like out of that team. I mean, I like Sam Carrick.
Mhm.
I personally worked with him for a few years, so really respect him. But outside of that, they take players that nobody wants anything to do with. Evander Kane, gambling problems with your ex-wife or wife, whatever she is. Come aboard. Corey Perry, problems in Chicago. Come aboard.
Yeah.
We'll take anybody at a chance to win. So that's the reason why I don't want Edmonton to win. So I'll
You
take the
know,
Cats.
Corey Perry would answer that question as sniper for sure.
Oh
I
yeah.
got no problem killing anybody.
So I'll take the Cats, and I honestly think it's going to be. I said Cats in 5 before this started. I think the Oilers can squeak one out with McDavid and Draisaitl, but I just don't think they have. And I said this against Dallas. I don't think goaltender versus goaltender. I think Bobrovsky is the guy, but I said that with Ottinger and Skinner, so I was wrong there.
I mean, in the words of the kid who's now famous from Florida for his like shirtless cheering behind the bench, if you haven't seen the clip, he was like, "We got Bob." We got Bob. So who could argue with that?
So I'm going to give you an amusing thing to look up when we're done. I'm not sure you've heard. Do you know who Jay Onrait is? So he does Sports Center up in Canada.
Okay.
Okay. Fantastic. He's hilarious. The world needs him. He did this bit this was 10 years ago, where Sergei Bobrovsky, he would just yell his name. Like, he'd be off camera and you just hear Bobrovsky. So he started this bit where he'd be like, Bobrovsky, you're off the case. Go look it up. It's really, really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Florida's got Bob, and I have faith in Bob and Florida.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's do
so
it.
We agree. Well, how many games do you think, though?
I don't know. I don't know. I could see 5. I could see 5. I don't think 7. I don't think 7
either. I wanted to go 6 or more just for the sport, because I don't know. Apparently the NBA Finals fallen on its face. I don't really pay much attention. I'm just regurgitating what I've seen on social.
I mean, yeah, I don't watch basketball. So yeah. No, thank you. Do you think the long distance, the travel between this final will be taxing, right? So this is a record-breaking commute between the two cities to go, the back and forth for the games is 2,500 miles.
It's going to get tough if the series extends, for sure. Once you do a game in Edmonton, fly to Florida, have a game, fly to Edmonton, games 6 and 7, if they're such a thing, are gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna hit them. And there's only a day off, right? There's only 1 day travel.
I think so.
Yeah, that's tough. And it's gonna be even more tough for people covering. Can you imagine? Because they get the luxury of a charter. Some people who are covering this are gonna have to have a layover in Chicago or Denver, or maybe even 2 layovers.
It happened in the conference final, going to Dallas. Good friend of the podcast, Kenny Albert, and his crew and all the TNT crew. It took something crazy. They got stuck in Canada one day, and then they had a layover. It took over 12 hours to get to or from Dallas to just go back the next day to start broadcasting again or whatever. Yeah. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, harder on the broadcasters for sure.
I mean, sometimes, honestly, in travel, I've made comments before. I'm not even playing and I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I wonder if just if playing, getting up and getting going and doing something actually helps you shake loose of the travel. Those morning quick skates, and then you shut it down for a nap, and maybe that helps.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this on the podcast before, but did you know that morning skates used to be a booze check?
Really?
Yep.
See if they were hungover?
Yeah, or just sweat it out.
Ah.
Because guys would go out the night before, like they'd get into let's say the Chicago Blackhawks flying to New York City. Were they going to go to bed in the 80s and 90s? Are they going to go to bed at 9 o'clock? No. So morning skates used to be, all right, let's sweat it out, boys. Let's sweat it out. And then they'd go take a nap, and then they'd get ready for the game.
Like that actually worked. I mean, come on. You can't just like sweat out the cocaine from the night before. It's like,
hey, we're talking booze. This is a PG-13 show.
Yeah, because that's all they're just drinking those Miller Lights, just pounding the Miller Lights, and yeah, you can sweat that out maybe. Back on the ice. I don't know. Either way, I did not know that, and I'm sure it is still applicable in a lot of ways today, and I'm sure it helps.
Not as frequent, though. I will definitely say that.
Yeah, definitely not. And not in the Stanley Cup Final. Like
No.
I mean, no. Unless you have like a problem or it's your way to we've heard the stories. Like sometimes like the guys in the playoffs just need to burn off like a night. And which player was it? I don't remember the notable player who's now retired, but like suggested to somebody because they were having a really bad stretch, like took him out, got him completely shit-faced, and then like played phenomenally. Like just needed to like blow off the steam. So like there's a time and a place for it, for sure.
Agreed.
If that's what you need, especially if you're trying to win a cup, like we gotta just do what we gotta do,
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to get your thoughts on is superstitions.
Okay.
Holy Connor McDavid, Jesus Christ, is he superstitious? He wore the same suit.
I saw that.
Walk-in. And then in a press conference, he even referred to my gods, the hockey gods. I have prayed to them over this very candle before and prayed for things to happen to the hockey gods, for good things to happen. And he was like, yeah, I guess the hockey gods just weren't on our side. I'm like, he's admitting he's really in it. He's like in one. And then on the flip side, so the Panthers, it was great. Their coach told Barkov not to touch the Prince of Wales trophy.
Yeah.
The previous year, they touched it. And they were like, it's fine. We don't believe in any of this. And then they lost last year. And the coach like grabs him by it's like, don't touch the cup. Don't. And like he looked terrified when he went out there. And like the picture, they're like not even smiling because they're just like so terrified to be anywhere near it. It was really funny.
I thought that was funny. That was really good. Just to give him the quick like, hey, we're not doing it this time around thing. That was really funny. I've heard Paul Maurice is a really good character. His
pressers are pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
But I was interested. So then I looked up to see if the Oilers touched the Clarence Campbell Bowl, and they did not either. But I don't remember on that side last year if Vegas touched it. Do you remember?
I don't. It's generally a thing, though. Like, you generally shouldn't touch it.
Yeah, but some teams, then there was like this whole thing because Tampa touched their trophy and then they went on to win. And like some teams are like, we don't believe in it. We won our trophy. We get to touch it.
Yeah. I would.
Yeah.
Just like you also don't touch the Stanley Cup.
No. Okay, I have a bone to pick with the hockey Illuminati guy. He's this Instagram influencer who talks hockey, and he's very funny, and we've had him on this podcast. He was with the cup and was legit touching it and like, look at, they misspelled this name and look whose name is misspelled here. And he was like physically touching it. And I was getting such anxiety watching him do this. I was like, how do you so confidently touch something that you don't deserve to touch, period? Like, even if my team won again, like in my lifetime, and I had the opportunity to touch the cup, I would have a moral conflict. Like, I didn't do anything to win this. And it's like such a prized thing. So I was like, I wanted to just be like, slap his hand away. Like, don't. Why? How are you? Why?
Well, you're a fan, though. It's fine, though, if you're a fan. That's a player superstition.
No.
I'd be okay if you touched it. Like,
no.
It's your own thing, I feel.
Oh, it's a Rachel problem?
No, I mean, like, it's everybody's own thing. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's a player thing.
Yes.
Like, it's a player psychological thing. Like, you're not competing for it. So to me, I feel like it's out the window.
No.
Now, if there was a podcaster cup, then yes, do not touch it until you win it, Ray.
Which we all know Ray's never winning any awards for anything. I don't even have a fake award like those tellies from one of my days in television, where people are like, oh, I have 20 tellies. I'm like, great.
Well, let's get some awards going at the end of the season.
What the fuck are we winning an award for?
The HOH podcast of the year. We'll pick an episode, and it'll be the episode of the year, and you can win it. It'll be like the what's the Office Awards from the show The Office.
I didn't watch it to that degree, so I don't know. Like, what would we even win for?
Best episode of the year.
Yeah, right here.
Bring it up to the podium, Ray. Thanks, guys.
I can't even imagine. Anyway, we're not winning anything here. Just winning all of you who listen, just winning your 5-star reviews is enough for me. Just sharing the podcast every once in a while, telling people about it, that would be enough for me. I would never need an award if that happened. Which I know a lot of you do. The touching of the cup. I don't think I have a hard time with it. I just don't think fans, especially if it's not your team. Phil Pritchard, the keeper of the cup, did like this whole interview with ESPN before, because they're covering the final, which we know how I feel about that. But he was like, not just anybody gets to touch the cup, and it's a special thing, and I just respect it too much, probably.
Fair enough.
Anyway, that's what I got on that. I think we covered it all. Oh, no, we didn't. The last thing. I'm sorry. I never place bets.
Okay. Oh.
I don't gamble. Except at the beginning of this season when Breezy and I spent $5 in Vegas to bet on who would win the Stanley Cup this year. Both of us lost. She picked the Devils, I think, and I picked Vegas, which I at least had a chance.
Yeah.
And it was $5, and it was for entertainment of the podcast. But I also placed a bet with a former guest of the podcast, Kevin Pozo. He's a retired player. And he would not stop yammering on to me about how Adam Fantilli was such a better prospect than Connor Bedard. And he was like, I'm going to place a friendly bet with you that Fantilli will have more points at the end of the season than Bedard. And I was like, you're on. And guess who won? And both of them I won. But both of them were injured too, by the way, this season.
I was going to say, did you go points per game?
No, we did all overall points.
Okay.
And I clearly won. And I knew I was going to be right. And so I took that's the only reason why I took the bet. Because I was like, unless he gets injured, and then fine, then I wouldn't be butthurt about it because, like, he got injured.
Yeah.
So the loser had to come on the podcast and say that the other player was the better player on record. And so here it is.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Kevin Pozo here, former pro hockey player and previous guest of Ray's House of Hockey. At the beginning of the season, the NHL season, that is, we made a bet. I thought Fantilli was the better player. She obviously thought Bedard was a better player. And I lost that bet. So I will have to admit, unwillingly, but I own up to losing a bet. Bedard is the better player. Deuces.
So I won a bet.
Good for you.
You know what? Maybe this is the start of me winning awards for this podcast, Andy.
All right, hey, make up one now.
First, you win a bet.
It's the Connor Bedard Award.
You know, first you win a bet, then you win awards for the podcast.
All right.
That's what happened.
Well,
So,
should we make a bet? Should we make a bet to close out this episode then? We haven't really gone head to head on anything in this episode though. So
just the team names. We could bet who's going to win. What the name of Utah's going to be. Well, we know this season they're going with the hockey club, but beyond that,
I'd rather do okay, hang on. Let's take it out of the Stanley Cup Final. Is there any? There's got to be something we can do here.
Who's got more goalies? Who's got more saves? No, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it. We'll do something for next year.
All right. You know what? Let me ride high on my one bet I've ever placed.
I'll let you enjoy the moment. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get a tradition going that we can start getting awards going.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to do it with the draft at the beginning of next season.
Yeah,
maybe we pick a draft player.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Who's going to be the better of the season?
Deal.
Anyway, I never felt so good hearing words told to you that you were right. It's like the best feeling. And you know what? I'm never going to feel it again. So whenever I'm down, which is all the time,
play the recording.
Just play the recording.
There you go.
Anyway, thanks for being here, Andy.
No, thank you. See you later.
Thanks for coming over to our House of Hockey podcast and hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. And in the meantime, you can follow us on social media. Just look for House of Hockey podcast. We'll be back next week.